This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Eiffel TV. We're in Manchester here for the FROCH versus GROVES final press conference. With me, I've got the IBF and WBA super middleweight champion Cole FROCH. That better?
Correct.
That's better.
That's better.
Talking's all done. First of all, what did you make of the press conference today?
I thought it was okay. I thought it went smooth as it could have done. I was expecting a little bit more verbal abuse from George Groves than what I actually received. It wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be, but I think I shot him down quite well. You know, I think it was the older, wiser, sort of consummate professionalism that I'm usually conducting myself with against the young, petulant, cheeky, arrogant, childish, immature, young upstart, trying to be clever, but I think he got lost for words. I don't think he was making any sense. I thought his tactics for the fight and what he's saying he's going to do was just ridiculous and laughable, and he almost sort of like tried to snitch on me to the headmaster about something that I said in my last fight, which I just thought was ridiculous and totally irrelevant.
Like you said, for 2 days now, George has been saying to the press and various interviews that he was going to tell you exactly how he's going to beat you, basically, at the press conference today, and he sort of outlined that from rounds 1 to 3 and then said it was up to you. So what did you really make of that?
Well, I just think it's laughable. I thought it was ridiculous and stupid, if I'm honest. But it was quite a detailed, descriptive explanation of his tactics. I was quite shocked, but I don't know what to say. It's just ridiculous. It's pointless me trying to go into it. A double right hand's going to come to the centre ring and land a double right hand. I think that just speaks for itself. He's going to come and land a double right hand. Ridiculous.
All the way through this, you've maintained the fact that George has been disrespectful to you. Whenever I've asked George in this week, especially in 2 interviews, he said that apart from calling you a chump on ringside, that he hasn't been disrespectful to you and he's labelled you as an ambassador for the country in respect of boxing. So, in your opinion, where's the disrespect come from?
How long you got? Because, you know, he's downplayed my fantastic record at world level. If I do say so myself, I've boxed some really, really good quality, classy, top-level fighters in my career. I'm not going to name them all because people know who I've boxed, and if you don't know, have a look on BoxRec and have a look at my last 10 opponents. He's showing no respect for the fact that he's not acknowledging that I've boxed at top level. He's saying I don't deserve to be at top level, and I'm world champion. I'm 4 times world champion, current holder of 2 of the major belts, and he's talking down to me and talking at me, and he can't even say my first name. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. He breathes on me in a way that he shouldn't. He looks at me in a way he shouldn't. He speaks at me, not to me. He brings up stuff in the past that bears no relevance on this fight, and just his whole way in which he's conducting himself from the start of the fight, this being announced, from when this fight was announced up until now, he's been totally disrespectful. I don't need to explain or dissect exactly and be descriptively detailed into each individual section of his disrespect, but he's been very, very disrespectful. Just listen to his comments, have a look at some of the press releases with his comments on them. Listen to what he's saying. Have a look at his Twitter, trying to goad me, trying to antagonise me. You know, it's very, very petulant, pathetic, childish, immature, and very naive. And the good thing about boxing is we get to put it right on fight night. So I'm really, really looking forward to hitting him hard in the face. Believe it or not.
Does it make a difference to you who's in George's corner?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Does the game plan slightly change with Adam Booth not in the corner at all?
No, the game plan doesn't change. It doesn't matter who's in George Groves' corner. It's who's in the ring when we're fighting. And it's George Groves and I in the ring.
Would you be surprised if he turned up in the corner?
I'd be surprised because from what I've heard lately, which I won't go into, I think their relationship is well and truly over. So I'd be surprised from that sense. I don't think Adam Booth would put himself in a position where stuff's been said and action's been taken with the board, and they're sorting out their differences, the business differences, correctly and legally, for him to then be in George's corner, I'd be very, very surprised. I'd be like, oh, right, okay. You all right, Adam? How you doing, mate? What are you doing here? But I wouldn't be bothered. I wouldn't care less. And it'd be nice to see him, actually.
From the start of this, you've said that you don't hate him. It's just a dislike. Has that developed into a hatred?
I can't stand the guy. I've changed my mind. It's not going to change the way I fight, but I really, really don't like George Groves. Can't stand him. Where is he? I'm in the same room as him still. Honestly, I can't wait to beat him up. I've got to be honest. And I've let my guard down now for KUGAN CASSIUS on the iFilm London, because I'm not wound up, I'm not agitated or anything, but I really, really, I can't stand him. He's horrible. He's a horrible person. I don't like horrible people. I think I'm actually quite a nice person, and I think it goes a long way, you know.
Did the whole ringside episode aggravate you at all?
No, because I went in there with a James Bond mindset. You know, just be cool, calm and collective all the way through. Ignore him. Don't be drawn in. And I thought I did it well. And the way the bench was situated, where I was sat talking to Johnny and Adam, George Groves was out of my peripheral vision, so I could hear him, but I couldn't really see him. And when I watched it back, I thought, oh, he was leaning onto his knees and looking at me and really trying to goad me. But I couldn't see that going off on the show. So I was able to just keep my composure and pretty much ignore him. So I came out of there feeling very, very happy with the way it went.
There seemed to have been some unnecessary silences during that, where it seemed like the camera was panned on you and nothing was being said. So it was like, I think you turned around at one point and went like, what's going on? Because no one was saying anything. Do you remember that?
I can remember the bit then when he was saying I was going to cry. I mean, I don't know at what point, or if he actually genuinely believes that I was going to cry, like physically cry tears over something. I remember looking at Eddie just saying, Eddie, what's happening right now? What's going on? Because I was bemused by the behaviour, and I couldn't believe the situation that was happening, that was unfolding on ringside. I just couldn't believe what he was doing. And I read every now and again on different websites, like only a few, and one of the newspapers said that he's won the battle of the verbals. And I just find it so hard that somebody can write down and say that George Groves is one up on the verbal arguments, because I just think it's so ridiculous and pathetic and immature and stupid, the stuff that he says and the way in which he's conducted himself. I don't know how anybody can draw that he's actually getting the upper hand from that. So whichever one writers wrote that George Groves won the battle of the verbals, or two of them, or whichever Twitter people are saying that, you need to dust yourself down, have a look at yourself and have a talk to yourself in the mirror, because George Groves has wrote himself off bad. He's made himself look ridiculously stupid, immature, childish, pathetic, and the stuff he's saying is making zero sense at all. Not just to me, to everybody that's listening to him. He's done himself absolutely no favours, and I think he's made a mistake because he's put so much pressure on himself. He's talking about hitting me with double right hands. He was talking about putting me to sleep a couple of weeks ago. He's talking about knocking me out. I've got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's saying that I've read somewhere that I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. I'm chilled. I'm really, really chilled and happy. I've had a fantastic career, and it's going on. And I'm going to have a longer career. And I'm planning where I'm going for the next 2 or 3 fights with confidence, genuine confidence that I'm going to do the business against George Groves on Saturday night. You look at me, and I don't know if you see it, but unbelievable. When I tell you I'm going to beat George Groves, I'm going to knock him out. That's what I genuinely 100% believe. When you listen to George Groves and he tells you what he's going to do to me, you look at him and you think, are you sure? Do you even believe that? You don't believe it. He's a worried man. And he's trying to say what he can to try and put himself in a position where, on fight night, when he's really, really worried and concerned that he's going to try and go in and do something. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know how it's going to unfold. I'm quite excited.
Can I just ask your opinion on, there was a video circulating around YouTube called Carl the Contradiction FROCH. Did you see it?
I did, yeah. I thought it was very well constructed and put together very well. But one thing I will say about the contradictions, if you take anybody like President Obama, or maybe he's not been in power long enough, Bill Clinton or Tony Blair, and you go over a 10-year span or an 8-year span, which is what that video was constructed over. Carl the Contradiction FROCH was constructed over about a 7 or 8 year period. There's an old clip from when David Hay phoned me up and said, we're signing George Groves, do me a favour, where you can, big him up. I say, all right, David, no problem. And then when someone does an interview and says, what do you think of George Groves? I say, oh, David A said big him up. Yeah, George Groves is made of the tough stuff. You know, he's a good fighter. He could go a long way. And then, so you've got that on record. And then 8 years later, or 7 years later, whatever it is, you realise that George Groves is a cocky, arrogant, cheeky, horrible person. What do you say? Oh, George Groves is a nice bloke. He's a good bloke. Yeah, he'll go a long way. You say what you say what you feel at the time. 5, 6, 7 years later, I've contradicted myself again. I said 8 years, but I meant 6. You say what you feel at the time. So you change your opinion on somebody over a time frame. So if you get 8 years of footage of anybody, yourself included, Bill Clinton included, President Obama, Tony Blair, Carl Froch, you will find contradictions. Because you've got to go over that span of time to find somebody contradicting themselves and then put it onto a DVD. It's very sad for a start. It's very time consuming, but it was quite, it's quite good. I was laughing watching it. I mean, the dancing bit was great with about Kawasaki and Strictly, and then me dancing away with Rachel. But I thought the dancing bits looked good. I've quite enjoyed myself doing the dancing. I thought I got received very well, and I've got a whole new audience to me as a fighter. And the housewife and the kids at home. And I'm not bothered what people say, contradictions. Oh, I contradicted myself. Oh, you know what you're going to do? I've contradicted myself. Big deal. Look at my record. Look at the fights I've been involved in. Look at what I do for a living. You know, come round my house, have a look how I live, have a look at my lifestyle, have a look at what I've achieved, have a look at what I've done, what I'm going to do, where I'm going. And, you know, I'm in a very, very good place, very, very happy place. And anybody tries to downplay what I've done or try and pull me down or give me any stick and write me off, honestly, I've got a beautiful family. I'm in a very, very good place outside of the ring. And I'm, you know, I don't need to, I'm waffling now. But it's laughable. And I thought that video that was constructed by whoever did the Call the Contradiction was very good. Take a look at it. It's a bit of entertainment. Enjoy it.
I hope no one makes KUGAN the contradiction CASSIUS. I think I'd cry.
Can you imagine? I reckon you've done
I've done 3,000 videos in the last 3 years, so I'm sure just my probably opinions of Eddie have changed over that 3-year gap. So
that's true, yeah. You've said some bad things about Eddie, and it was all unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm going to say some bad things to him in a minute when we interview.
Let me just say that Eddie Hearn is a fantastic promoter, and I'm not just saying that because he's my promoter and I work with him. I mean, Eddie Hearn has kept this show together. The undercard of this show was falling apart in stages, and you know many other promoters would have crumbled under the pressure, but he's kept it together. It's a pay-per-view event, so we need to provide not just a fantastic Chief Bill, which is myself against Georgie Boy. You know, that's going to be a good fight while it lasts. But the undercard's got to be fantastic as well. And when you've got problems with the undercard, that can kill the event. But he's kept it together. He's kept his cool. He's made it work. He's got a really, really strong undercard for this event. And people are definitely going to get the money's worth. And if you look at what he's doing for British boxing, not just for me, but for all the other fighters and the opportunities he's giving people and the fights he's putting on for the fight fans. Imagine if we didn't have Eddie Hearn. And we only had the other promoters. I'm not going to mention any names, but if we only had the other promoters that are around, can you imagine the fights that we'd have to be watching and you know the frustration that we'd have to be enduring? The Saturday fight night on Sky Sports is the best. If you're a boxing fan, you want to tune into a Saturday fight night, or you want to buy the Sky box office for a big event. It's as simple as that. And Eddie Hearn is putting on some fantastic shows, some watchable shows that are exciting. We've got Tony Bellew over in Canada a week after me. Then we've got Darren Barker in Germany. I mean, I'm going over to watch Barker. I wish I could go over to see Bellew, but I can't. But there's some great boxing that's happening, and that's happened, and that's still going to happen for the next 2 years because of Eddie. So you've got to give him a bit of credit. Not too much credit, but he enjoys his job. He's enthusiastic.
He's on the phone now making a deal.
He's on the phone. He's always on the phone. He's a busy man. He's up and down the motorway constantly, and you know. He deserves his props, he does, Eddie. He really does.
All right, Carl. Listen, I just want a one-word answer for this. Is FROCH Kessler bigger than FROCH Groves?
Yes.
Yes.
FROCH Kessler 2.
FROCH Kessler 2. No, FROCH Kessler 2. 2. The one in this year, bigger fight than what you're having this Saturday.
You know what? There's not much in it. I'd say yes, because for me it is.
But that for the outside public.
The outside public, you know, unfortunately, which is ridiculous, because that's the one thing that's wrong with boxing. Sometimes boxing can be a bit of a pantomime. I'm not saying this is a pantomime fight, because you've got an unbeaten fighter who's hungry and who wants to win a world title, but boxing can sometimes capture the public's imagination for the wrong idea. But no, FROCH Kessler 2 was a massive fight. It meant so much to me personally. And for the fans, it might not have meant as much, but it obviously meant a great deal, because we filled the O2 Arena. It was on Sky Box Office and it was received very, very well. Thank you very much.
Carl FROCH, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and wish you the best of luck. Come fight night, weigh-in tomorrow. Let's get it on.
Thank you.
KUGAN CASSIUS here with Carl, the Cobra FROCH for IFL TV. Thank you very much.